This is the Louie T Network.
Man, I love some football. Man, I love some football. My favorite week is week 1, cause I'm watching football. First comes the preseason, and I don't take a day off. And then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. We in the lab room.
Louie T, welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 10 in the National Football League. Tuesday edition of In the Lab Room. And let's just make this quick and painless, just like the Philadelphia Eagles did on Monday Night Football. Speaking of which, let's jump into that Monday Night Showcase, shall we? Monday Night Football, Philadelphia Eagles at home hosting the Carolina Panthers. For the Panthers, it was the last stand. This was your opportunity to stick your hand through the dirt, just like the 49ers did on Sunday. Stick your hand through the dirt and say, I'm not dead yet. Don't bury me. I'm not dead yet. And even though this division is bad, I mean, it's really bad. Nobody's over 500 in the NFC South. Still, with a win, you could take the lead in the division. And so, even though you didn't win this game, it doesn't mean you're dead. But you're dead. You're not going to win this division. And if you don't win the division, you're not going to the postseason. And you don't need to go anywhere anyway. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, it was simple. You're at home. You're playing a bad Carolina Panthers football team. Everybody wants to see what this offense is going to look like with Dirty CHEZ at the helm. So it's time for Mark Sanchez, who's starting for the first time since 2012, to step in and show what he's made of and show that there will be no drop-off at the quarterback position with the absence of Nicholas Foles. So here was his opportunity to show that, hey, I've learned a lot since I've gotten injured and had to sit down in New York, and I'm getting another opportunity. I won't squander this opportunity. So big stage for Mark Sanchez and the Philadelphia Eagles. Take care of business. Dallas got it done over in London versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. You need to get it done here on Monday Night Football. So let's jump into this breakdown quickly. D. Will puts it on the ground on the opening possession for the Panthers at their own 22-yard line. So Eagles take over, great field position. It's rare to see D. Will put it on the floor. So you hate to see a guy come out. He's been injured all season long. You know he wants to be on the field. And the first thing that he does is he puts the church's money on the floor. You can't do that. Don't put the church's money on the carpet, man. And so Eagles recover the football. They're at the 22-yard line. Defense steps up, however. The best thing you can do as a defense in a sudden change of possession, other than force a turnover of your own, is force a field goal. They did, so it's 3-0. Eagles up early in this game. The very next offensive snap for the Panthers, and this is about as bad as you can start a game without one of these going to the crib. Cam throws an egregious interception straight to Kerry Williams. Miscommunication on the part between Cam and your rookie receiver, and this is what happens when rookies are involved. Again, I tell you, you know that when you have a rookie receiver out there, you're going to have mistakes. This happens very commonly, and so Calvin Benjamin stops on the route. He's covered, definitely. I mean, Cam shouldn't have thrown the football. I don't want to put all of the blame on the young fella because this was a bad decision by Cam Newton. There was nothing here. You don't throw this football. He did. He tried to cram it in there. And KB said, all right, man, it's a lot of congestion here. I'm not catching this football. Cam isn't. He's smart enough. He's not going to throw this, right? Wrong. He throws it in there. Kerry Williams continues to run the route for Kelvin Benjamin. It's an interception. So now the Eagles are taking over in Carolina territory once again, and so this time, they had to pay for this one. You got away once already. You can't go to the well one too many times. You want to turn it over in this game, you're going to pay in this game. And so Brent Selleck, haven't heard his name in a while for these Eagles, picks up 21 yards. That leads to an 8-yard Mighty Mike touchdown. It's 10-0 Eagles early in this game. If you're the Carolina Panthers, you don't want this thing to get out of control. I don't need a drive right now. I need to drive like right now. I mean, this next time you touch the football, something positive needs to happen or else. Because this one is starting to go downhill fast. And that's exactly what we got out of the Panthers. A consistent gain on the ground as they moved the ball methodically on the ground. They settled in. Jonathan Stewart came in, had some nice carries. D. Will got his hands on the football as well, was able to bounce back from the fumble. He was able to pick up some yards on the ground. They were able to settle down. Cam was able to get some completions, and he hits Greg on a 38-yard catch. So that kind of set them up in Philadelphia Eagles territory, and that all leads to a 1-yard Jonathan Stewart touchdown run. Great drive and an impressive response. After the adversity of the first two drives, great response by the Panthers. It's now 10-7. We've got a ball game, or at least it seems like we got a ball game. And things were starting to settle in until Brad Nortman, the punter of the Carolina Panthers, inexplicably kicks the football. You cannot punt the football down Center Street to an elite punt returner. Who does that? I mean, there are only a good handful of elite punt returners in this league. And you know the rules when dealing with the elite guys. You don't punt the football in the middle of the field to these guys. And again, there are not a lot of them around the league, so you know who you're playing against. And you know that Mighty Mike, Darren Sproles, is one of those guys you don't do that to. You want to kick it to the Philadelphia Eagles logo, straight to him? Fine. Well, guess what he's going to do? He's going to fly, Eagle, fly. And that's exactly what he did. 65 yards into the end zone, barely touched on the play as he scores a touchdown. And to me, that was the beginning of the end of the Carolina Panthers in this game. Special teams let them down. And the Eagles special team, they did it again. 5th touchdown produced by this special teams unit. By far the best in the league this season, and so the Eagles are just getting it done. They're a machine on the special team side of things this season, and now it's 17-7 as we end the first quarter. And so now Dirty CHEZ is feeling himself. He's like, hey man, I haven't really had to do much of anything. Team is picking me up. They force turnovers. I've been able to help them get in the end zone off the turnovers. Now it's time for me to show up and do everything myself. Drive starts at the 9-yard line. Panthers are able to pin them deep after punting the football. Pin them at the 9-yard line. Dirty CHEZ goes on a 93-yard drive thanks to a false start penalty that they had on the drive that they had to go back 2 yards. So in all actuality, the drive went 93 yards, and Dirty CHEZ carved up the Panthers on this drive, including 4 catches for Jordan Matthews, who was stellar in this game, goes over 100 yards in this game versus the Panthers. He has 4 catches on the drive from Dirty CHEZ, including a 13-yard touchdown catch. He had 73 yards on this drive alone and caps it off with a 13. And Dirty CHEZ did a great job on this possession, and all night for that matter, of getting out of the pocket, using his mobility. I think that's one of the areas where he excels in this offense a little bit better than Nicholas Foles does, is mobility. He's a much more athletic quarterback than Nicholas Foles is. He's able to get out of the pocket, reshuffle his feet, reset, and throw some darts all night long, including on this touchdown to Jordan Matthews. It's now 24-7, and just for good measure, right before the half, Cam trying to do too much, tries to throw a stop right. And again, it's just miscommunication on the part of he and Jason Avant. This is what happens when you have a whole new crop of receivers. You don't bring anybody back. There's no continuity. Cam misses all the offseason. And again, I know we're in week 10. We shouldn't be talking about continuity, but we are. And this is a big part of things. And when you bust everything up and you start anew, this is what you have. You have mistakes between guys who aren't on the same page. Cam throws it in one place. Jason Avant runs a route, stops in another. Ball goes straight to Bradley Fletcher this time. He takes it to the crib. It's 31-7. We know where this one is going. I stopped taking notes at this point because I knew this game was over. As we go to the halftime break, 31-7. This game would get out of control. It was already out of control. Hell, they're up 24 at the half. Cam would end up with 3 picks on the game. He would throw 2 touchdown passes, both to Kelvin Benjamin, and he would also lose a fumble later on in the game with Cam. So it was just a nightmarish game for these Panthers. Eagles get it done. Sanchez goes over 300 yards passing, has 2 touchdown tosses. The Eagles dominated defensively in this game. Special teams chipped in, as we already have heard. And also, you look at it, Shady McCoy, another lousy night for him. He does get in the end zone on a short touchdown run, but another lousy night for him as he's 12 carries, 19 yards. They still can't get him on track running the football. But, hey, the show must go on as the Eagles get it done in tremendous fashion on Monday Night Football, 45-21. It's the same old story for the Carolina Panthers. No running game. Cam tries to do too much. They turn the football over. The only 2 guys that even helped Cam out in the course of the game, Greg O, who has 6 catches for $119, and of course KB with the 2 touchdowns late in the game when the thing was out of control. So it's the same story. Defense doesn't show up. Cam tries to do too much. KB and Greg O show up. No running game assistance. You lose the football game. It's been that way all year for this Panthers football team. Meanwhile, the Eagles get it done. They take care of business. Dirty CHEZ didn't look half bad. Again, this was a bad Panthers football team, so keep it in its proper perspective. But that's what you're supposed to do to bad football teams. You dispose of them, don't even make it close, and that's what the Eagles did here. Maybe the Eagles might have found something in Mark Sanchez. Dirty CHEZ cleaned up the Carolina Panthers. And so that's going to do it for the Monday Night Showcase. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Come back and join me on Wednesday as we jump back into our normally regular scheduled programming here in the Lab Room. And also, keep your eyes peeled for the week number 11 NFL Power Grid. I'll see you in a bit.